morning, everybody. This is Al from Texas. I'm driving right now to San Antonio on one of our county roads, and what you're looking at right now, it's an oil well that it's just burning natural gas, and that will burn natural gas for weeks and weeks and weeks, months, perhaps even years. If you look at the skyline out there, you'll see that there's two more flames out there that are oil wells burning natural gas. And natural gas in this country is a nuisance. We don't have any use for it. We burn it off, and here in Texas, we have wells that will run dry and start gushing salt water, for example. They'll get capped, even though they may be producing 5 million cubic feet of natural gas an hour. There's another one that's just burning there. Right in this road where I am, going all the way from Goliad and Victoria all the way down south near Corpus Christi. There are over 100 well, I think 160 well permits or active drilling rigs right now. Not well permits, but 160 active drilling rigs. You can see there's one right there, for example, that's active. They're getting ready to start, and there's in the horizon you'll see there's another one more that's drilling them back there. You'll see where you see a column of white light. That's a drilling rig that's in the process of drilling a well. There is enough natural gas, non-resource natural gas in this country to power the country for 300 years at the current use rate in the United States. That means that if you were to take every electric power plant, every diesel truck in the United States that you see on the highways, if you take every car and motorcycle on the road, everything that you can think of, including heating your home, heating your stove, cooking with it, anything you can think of that can be powered by natural gas today, that amount of natural gas in the known reserves will last us about 300 years. The problem with the United States is that we don't have a distribution network. So what do we do with natural gas? We burn it off out in the field, like you've seen. And sometimes what they use, for example, there's a huge oil field south of Houston, and what they do is they inject natural gas right back into the ground to push the oil up, because they don't know what else to do with it. So it's just one of those things where we have huge amounts of resources that can't be used simply because we don't have a distribution network, and we don't have the political foresight to do something about it. People talk about the economy being bad and stimulus not working and blah blah blah. Here's a novel idea. Why don't the federal government get all the oil companies together, meaning Shell and ExxonMobil, Valero, right, Marathon Oil, all these people, and simply say to them, look, we're going to give you a tax credit. You don't have to pay any taxes on every dollar that you invest in getting all your gas stations equipped with natural gas, and we'll partner with you, and we'll do cost sharing dollar for dollar on building a distribution network in the United States for natural gas, meaning gas lines, gas pipes, pipelines going all over the United States. And then have a mandate to the car companies that within a year or two they have to have all of the motors in the vehicles converted to natural gas. That doesn't mean they need to re-engineer anything. It just simply says, you reprogram the computers, the onboard computers, get different injectors, and they actually could use the same injectors if they really wanted to. So there's very little modification. You can get a regular engine to burn natural gas, and then give them about 5 to 6 years to develop a brand new natural gas turbine for cars and trucks. We would be almost overnight employing hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people in the United States. Think about it. All of the manufacturing that have to get done to get natural gas pumps at every gas station, all of the work that would have to be done in laying the pipeline all over all the states, right? All of the truckers that would be employed by trucking natural gas, right? All of the revenue the government would collect from selling natural gas, in other words, from taxing the natural gas, all the people that would be put at work, it's just, and the fact that we wouldn't have to bring any oil from a foreign country. And here's another tidbit, right? Natural gas today costs about $2.50 a gallon. Well, and it costs $2.50 a gallon because there's not enough demand for it. If you increase it, here's another active drilling rig right there, and you see in the background, in the back, there's 2 more on top of that one. So we're drilling, but we're not drilling enough. And with the current federal administration, we sure as heck are not going to drill any more than we have to, because Obama's going to make sure that that the agenda of the green movement is before the agenda of getting the country back on its feet. So when you think about how the fact that you don't have to process natural gas, it's not like oil, right? We got to get oil out of the ground, and depending on the quality of the oil, you got to go and refine it. Natural gas needs no refining. You get it out of the ground, you pressurize it and cool it down to liquefy it, you put it in a truck or in a pipe, and you push it right to the end user. Done. We could have $1 a gallon of natural gas in every vehicle, every power plant, every home in the United States for the next 300 years without ever touching our oil reserves. And we could be selling other countries our oil. We could be a net exporter of oil instead of a net importer of oil. I mean, it's amazing to me how people in the government just haven't been able to figure out that we're sitting on something so large that it baffles the mind. Let alone all the coal that we have. We could be selling to China, who has, every month, they're putting up a new coal-fired power plant. We got hundreds of years of reserve coal in the United States. But again, it's something that just goes to waste. And to be quite honest, if you want to think green, what more green could you get than burning natural gas in all the vehicles and immediately reduce the emissions from everything that you see, from all the vehicles, all the trucks, all the power plants, all the homes that are using electricity today to cool or to heat and to cook, and transform that into something that's burning natural gas, propane, and that can reduce the emissions by 75 to 90%. So natural gas, it's a green alternative to oil right now, and it's something that we have vast amounts of. We just don't have a distribution network. So to me, I think if you need to get the country back on its feet, we need to get our politicians to start thinking about getting a partnership with the oil companies in the United States who would be willing to jump on this bandwagon. I mean, look at T. Boone Pickens a couple of years ago. We had the TV commercials about natural gas, and the problem is there's no willingness to do it because there is something about the government, the federal government in the United States, that they just don't want to invest in their own country, in our own country, and that's just baffling to me. So one of my agendas, I guess today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit down and I'm going to write a careful email to Ron Paul's campaign, who's my candidate of choice. I'm going to propose to him and see if maybe him and his team will take enough consideration to kind of go through my recommendations and maybe give him something as a platform to talk about during the debates. That here's a way that I could put a lot of people to work right away. Here's a way that I can get the country back on its feet. Here's a way that I could get the economy moving again. If we could become a net exporter of oil to other countries and be selling oil and be selling coal because we simply don't need it. My goodness, we could have revenues. They continue talking about the deficit and we need to increase revenues by taxing people more. Increase my taxes. No way. We got enough stuff in this country to bring revenue if we just get to it and use our brains. So this is something that I think that Ron Paul definitely could use as a platform. Hopefully he'll take a look at it. But to me, when the government gets into a partnership with private companies doing something of this magnitude, can you imagine creating a natural gas distribution network over the United States? Gas pipelines going everywhere. Every gas station would have a pump that you can pump natural gas or propane into your car. You still have oil dependency for a while until all the cars that are on the road now eventually go away. But that's going to be a transitional period, and eventually everybody's going to be on natural gas, and certainly they could retrofit kits to convert existing vehicles into natural gas. It's not that hard. So anyways, that's just my rant for the day. Just something that I think about all the time, because every time I come on this road, and I apologize you don't see a whole lot because it's awfully foggy right now and it's dark, but I'll try to shoot a video on my way back today with this camera and splice it together so you can see the amount of oil rigs and wells that are in this area here. And this is just one area in Texas. Texas is just dotted everywhere with oil wells all over the place, and almost every oil well spews natural gas. It's just something that goes along with having oil. I know a friend of mine that he invested in 2 oil wells, and eventually they ended up being capped because it started after a few months sucking up salt water. But they were pushing. One well was pushing 3 million cubic feet of natural gas an hour. The other one was pushing 5 million feet of natural gas an hour. And the pressure in the wellhead was about 20 to 25,000 pounds per square inch. I mean, it's just amazing. And they were both capped years ago because they stopped, getting oil. They dried up. They dried up of oil, but God knows how much natural gas is under the ground, and those 2 wells have been capped for years because we just don't use it. So it just sits there. Where natural gas right now is $2.50 a gallon. And if we could get it in this distribution network, then that cost, because production increases, it would go down even more. We could have $1 a gallon gas again. Anyway, I was just pointing back there before the trees get in the way that there was 2 more old platforms that you could see. If you rewind the video back a little bit, you'll see 2 vertical white columns of light, and those are 2 more drilling rigs out there. So they're just drilling everywhere around here, and there's just so much oil that they're going to extract. A lot of it is from shale oil, and it's something that needs to be processed and needs to be refined. Where natural gas, it's just from the well to a truck or to a gas pipeline and out to the gas stations. It's just that easy. It's just easy. Anyways, thanks for watching, everybody. I appreciate your time. God bless everybody, and let's hope that our country comes to its senses and we get the economy moving again, get people back to work, God willing, if we all stay under His grace, by being righteous to Him and Sal again. I'm returning back from the San Antonio on the road, and you can see, during the daylight, more wells, and the access road to the wells. If you ever see this kind of access road here, you know that there's wells out there. You can see there's an oil platform or a drilling rig out there drilling another well, just off to my right there. Kind of hidden from view now by the trees. But if you just scan the horizon carefully, there are all kinds of wells out here being dug. Here's another access road. You can see the dirt flying off in there from the wind. So there's more wells down that road, further on up, and probably right behind these tree lines here. There's all kinds of wells already dug, and where you don't see the drilling rig anymore, but the well head is already in place and it's already pumping oil out, and that's just something that's been going on here in Texas for a while for this area. Right behind that fence line, that fence is brand new, and right behind that fence line, just a few months ago, they were building a pipeline. So there's a brand new oil pipeline going the entire length of this road for miles and miles and miles. So you can drive probably another, 45 minutes down this road, and and there's pipelines all the way through. You can see that drilling rig way out there. But it's unfortunate that we're having to drill horizontally and fracking the rock so we can get into the shale oil when we have such an abundance of natural gas already tapped and needs no processing. I mean, it's all it needs is to be liquefied through cooling and pressure, and put into tanks and drove elsewhere, right, for distribution, or you could just simply pipe it in gas lines all over the country. So it is extremely economical to get natural gas out of the ground and distribute it. The problem is we have no distribution in the country. I called a talk show host this morning on the Patriot Channel, proposing the idea, and they are talking about, he was talking about more or less, if the market forces, want natural gas, then we would have had natural gas, and that's not really true. The reason we don't have natural gas more prevalent is because we haven't built an infrastructure to distribute it. And there's no oil company in the world that's going to build an infrastructure to distribute it when all the engines in all the cars are for gas. It's just a natural progression. It's a law of physics. A body in motion tends to stay in motion until something makes it stop. Friction will eventually overcome that motion and make it stop. And the friction right now is the lack of distribution, right? And the lack of the government actually, having a mandate just like they do for, fuel efficiency, that says, hey, X number of years down the road, you got to have X number of cars coming out of the production line with, converted to natural gas. And eventually, everything could be run off natural gas. We got so much of it, and have lower emissions, cleaner engines. If you ever looked at my brother-in-law's truck, runs on natural gas, and you can take that oil dipstick, or you could take the oil and change it, in his car, and it looks like it was just put in yesterday. I mean, it still looks like honey. There's no blackness to it. It is that clean. It's just an amazing fuel that we have so much of that it's just a shame that we don't use it, and all we lack really is, the technology to really create, specially built engines for vehicles that will run off natural gas. Gas turbines for the diesel trucks that you just saw pass by, and the car that I'm driving. And my goodness, this could be so much better. Put a lot of people to work in creating new parts and building new infrastructure. Drilling more more wells and uncapping the ones that are capped right now, building the pipelines. You know, it would be an amazing boost to the economy to put all that many people to work and manufacture all of the things that would be needed to make that happen. So anyways, I just wanted to kind of brought that idea to the table and you know, let you guys know that here in Texas, you know, things are moving. Texas created 49% of all the jobs in the United States in the last 2 years, and part of that reason is because, you know, we have an electronics industry, but we also have a good, you know, oil industry, and really when it comes down to it, we're not drilling in the Gulf, so the only permits that can be had nowadays, because they're not letting anybody drill in the water, is you know, land drilling, and that, you know, takes us to that shale oil, which is a lot harder to get out of the ground. We have to frack the rock, and you know, some people are complaining that you know, they get intrusion. Here's another access road for oil wells, so they get intrusion into the water table from oil, and sometimes the natural gas seeps into the water table and gives it a flavor to it. But anyway, you know, it's something that's vital right now. You can see on this left-hand side, that fence, and all that's clear now is the pipeline that I was telling you about. That's a lot wider. And here they put 36-inch pipes in there. So there's actually, from what I can recall, there's 2 or 3 pipes running the length of this all the way out to almost Yorktown, which is a town about 30 miles up the road here. And you'll see constantly here our survey trucks that are doing the seismic tests and locating you know, the places where the next well needs to be drilled. There's a couple trucks up the road here from oil field workers, and more than likely, and you see they're on and off all over the place, where they're, you know, just gathering around and doing you know, a lot of planning for the work that needs to be done. But it's employing a lot of people, and we just really could get out of a lot of trouble in this country if we use what we have. There's 2 cranes up in the horizon there that you can see for wells that are going up. You see another drilling well in the background there behind those trees. Hopefully if I get over this next hill here, you'll see it much more clearly. But you can see that even something as simple as people being contracted to put down, not only to excavate, but also to put the fences back up, right? Rebuild the fences, build new fences as they lay down the pipeline. It's just creating jobs downstream. You know, somebody's got to build a barbed wire. Somebody's got to build the poles, right? Somebody's got to actually do the work. So you get a lot of people, you know, in the labor force back to work on that. And you know, there's a lot of material in construction, so you have, you know, plants that are manufacturing steel and steel products that are going to be needed for this. So you can see there's actually 2 drilling platforms down there, another one they're putting up here. It's just amazing that we don't use what we have in this country simply because we don't have an infrastructure, and nobody's being, you know, smart enough, I guess, in the government to say, look, you know, we want to join forces with the oil companies, and instead of, you know, having one oil company take the chance on a business venture, you know, to build the infrastructure, which they're not going to do, right? Because they got to have a guarantee of some monetary return for their investment, and that has to come from a partnership with the government, where the government says, okay, we'll help you build the infrastructure in the form of, you know, tax refunds or a tax or a tax-free return for every dollar that you invest in building the necessary infrastructure. And they can, you know, the oil companies can then actually get together and design a common framework on how, you know, build the standards. You know, what would the gas stations look like, right, at the pumps. But look at the horizon. You tell me if you see those giant flames out there, burning natural gas that we saw this morning, still burning, and they're going to be burning for years. We got wells in Texas that have been burning natural gas for 40 years now. Can you imagine that? The waste, the money that we're just literally burning money. And you see there's 2 more drilling platforms way out in the horizon, you know, for more wells. There's the pipelines that I was telling you about, and there's so that means there's more wells out in that direction to my right, and I've seen actually a lot of trucks going that way lately. So this is expanding out to my, that would be the east side here. It's going out to the east quite a bit. So, you know, it's just something that's amazing that we have so much of, and you just let it go to waste. It's unbelievable that we just burn oil or gas, natural gas, in that manner and not use it. Anyways, I'm rambling on, but I just wanted to show you a first-hand perspective of the kind of natural wealth that we have in the country that's just going to waste. Look at that, just going to waste. And that is day in and day out, and it's all over Texas. I lived for 15 years in North Dakota. You can go to North Dakota and South Dakota right now in the backing fields where they have over 1,200 drilling permits up there, and you can see exactly the same thing. You'll see natural gas being burned or pushed into the ground because we have nothing else to do with it. So they'll push it back into the ground to pressurize the oil and bring it back to the surface because, you know, it's cheap to do it. There's nothing else that we can do with that natural gas. You can't just vent it out. So they just burn it out or push it right back down into it, you know. So anyways, thanks for watching. Thanks for, you know, putting up with the rambling on. And, you know, if anybody wants to go ahead and comment and talk among your friends and help further the cause of becoming energy independent and wealthy again in this country by not having to ever use our oil or coal, and instead selling it to the Saudis and everybody else in the world that eventually is going to run our oil and coal, and they're going to need it. We could be selling all kinds of stuff to China if we just played our cards right. We got a lot of natural wealth in this country that we need to learn how to use better. So thanks for watching. Take care, and God bless everybody. Bye. There's more wells over here. You'll see here in just a little bit, we're getting to another spot where a lot of these pipelines are coming to it. But, you know, here's an example. There's an oil pipeline, and you see all the fields out there. And look, there's another well that's going to go up there. And you see all of these fields, these farm fields, right next to it. Just goes to show a lot of people that oil really, you know, the drilling of the oil in the pipelines is not a dirty business at all. You know, I see all the time oil fields right in the middle of a pasture, or right in the middle of a bean field, or, you know, something like that, or wheat field or corn field, and they're absolutely clean. I mean, they'll take, I don't know, you know, maybe in some cases, you know, 50 yards across or 100 yards across, you know, but certainly, you know, it's all clean all around it. So that what you see on TV about, you know, oil being dirty in the production or the drilling, it just causes, you know, all kinds of environmental issues. That's bull. You can see it right here. It's all clean right around it. There's nothing into it. You can, you know, when the spring rains come in, you won't even be able to tell that there's a pipeline that they dug down there, because that's all you can see is just the places where they have, you know, service access to the pipelines. But other than that, you really can't tell. All you see is just the pipe sticking on the ground once in a while, where, you know, where the wellhead is, and that's about it. As a matter of fact, here up the road, in just a minute, you'll see up close a well that was just dug not long ago. It's right next to a welder's home, and you know, it's just a nicely kept area that is nice and clean, and you really can't tell that there was anything going in there. And they were burning natural gas in here for months. I mean, this flame must have been 100 feet high. You could feel the heat from the road as you went by, and the noise was deafening. the amount of noise that this thing put out, but they capped it. There it is. And you know, it's just a dang shame, man. Just a shame. So anyways, thanks for watching, everybody. God bless.